What's up, Cher? Good morning, guys. So this is going to be part 3 of the she shed. Yeah. So today I'm going to be heading to my buddy Ryan's shop, and I'm going to be basically getting a crash course on building cabinets. So we'll see how that goes. But thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get to work. All right, so pretty much where we left off. I got all of the baseboards in, the trim, everything done. And what I've done here is I basically kind of mapped out where our cabinets are going to be. So it's roughly about 29 inches across and 21 inches deep. So these will be similar to, I guess more like a bathroom vanity, maybe about 21 inches. Because normally I think kitchen cabinets are 24 or possibly even 30. I'm not sure. I'm not a cabinet maker. And then this tape level here represents where the countertop will be. And that's going to be the top of the countertop. And I set that height at 40 inches, which is also a little high. Normal kitchen countertops are 36 inches. So it'll be a little high, kind of halfway between a bar top and countertop. I guess a bar top normally is 42 inches. Oh, good morning, boys. Good morning. Jeez. Okay, calm down. So bar top height, I think normally is 42 inches. So that's 2 inches under that, but 4 inches higher than countertop. All right, so just to give you an idea of what I'm going for with these cabinets. Very basic. And essentially what it is, it's basically going to be a drawer here, and then this is going to be a mid shelf, and then there's going to be a cabinet door over this part. It's really weird how this looks distorted on the picture or on the camera. And then the overall is going to be something like that. So the one cabinet I just showed is basically going to be 2 of those. Door will open this way on this side, door will open this way on this side. Drawer, drawer, and then like a pencil drawer going across. Countertop up here, total height's about 40 inches. Width is almost exactly 8 feet. So that's going to be it. And Ryan was actually in one of my previous videos, but you guys haven't seen that because I haven't released it yet. It was the video where I was building the my workbench. So I went to his shop to get these boards. This is eucalyptus, kind of milled up. We put in dominoes or biscuits and then glued all this up. I brought it back, I set it on my toolbox with intentions of finishing this workbench, and I never did. So I'm gonna get back on that because I need to post that video too. But essentially what's left on that is I need to get a piece of angle iron, mount it to the wall, and here I need to build a leg that's gonna go here. I'm gonna put some C-channel slots in the bottom of this just to keep it flat. And then do a little bit more finishing on it because it's not really finished that well. So anyway, I'll get to that video eventually. Oh, I also got a drill press, so look at this cool sticker. Guess who that is? So I'm over at Ryan's shop, and we basically went over the drawing again. Got our cut list together. The only variation from this drawing is that we're going to be adding a 2-inch, basically a kicker on the bottom, so it'll actually be up off the ground. So that's going to be our cut list. And then we got the material over there.
All right, guys, so this is just going to be a time lapse of the whole process. What we're doing here is we're breaking down the material. I started with 3 sheets of 3/4 inch birch plywood. So we're basically just going off of our cut list and making all the pieces that we need for the cabinets. Next, you can see I'm using the pocket hole jig and I'm drilling some pocket holes. This will be for the base assembly of the cabinet. Right here I'm drilling holes for the shelf stays, or I was in the beginning. Now I'm assembling the cabinet. More pocket holes. This is for the supports on the top that are going to go under the countertop and then also between the drawer and the shelf. Here I'm doing some edge banding. That's basically taking a really thin piece of birch with glue on the back and you iron it to the faces of the plywood. And now I am putting on the base and toe kick area. And then plenty of sanding. The plywood's already fairly smooth, but it has kind of a little fuzz on it. So just using 240 grit sandpaper just to knock all that down, make it nice and smooth, preparing it to be sprayed. And now I'm working on the countertop. This is just a birch butcher block top we got from Home Depot. And the final step, spraying everything. So we did 2 coats of lacquer on everything, and basically it was just clear. My wife likes the light colored wood, so we stuck with that. Good morning, guys. So as you saw in the time lapse, that was me building and assembling the cabinets at my friend Ryan's shop. If the voiceover sounded kind of deep, it was because I just woke up in the morning and I had barely had like 2 sips of my first cup of coffee. Yeah, so that time lapse was basically 3 full days of work. So doing casework, which is what they call assembling cabinets, it's very time consuming. So I was only building 2 cabinets really. I mean, kind of 3 if you count the middle drawers, the cabinet partition, and then the countertop. But yeah, that was pretty much 3 full days of work. I think I was at Ryan's for 6 to 8 hours each day. So big shout out to him. He's an awesome woodworker, good friend. So I'm basically going to go over what I have here and just get started on assembling all this. So I know this looks like a bunch of stuff, but every one of these pieces has a specific thing, or specific place, I should say. So the way that I'm going to be assembling these cabinets is I'm going to be starting on this wall here, and I have these trim pieces. So this is going to end up being a spacer. Hi, skull. So this is going to get attached on the outside of this cabinet and against the wall. And then what I'm going to try to do is to screw this through the spacer all the way into the wall. And what that's going to do is it's going to set the cabinet off away from the trim and away from the door. Hey, knock it off. Go lay down. That will set the cabinet off away from the wall and the trim for the door. This cabinet will get attached, leveled, and then attached to the wall. And then I have these pieces here, which are, they just have the edge banding on the front. And basically what this piece is it's a connecting piece for the 2 cabinets, right? And this is measured out 36 inches, so the drawer that's going to be in the middle is going to end up being a 36-inch drawer, which is this here is my little pencil drawer face. So that's going to be the front face of that drawer. The small pieces here are the faces of these drawers. So that fits in there. Whoa, if I can get it. So that's the drawer face for here. Those pieces against the wall are the doors. And it's really strange because the doors ended up being perfectly square. They're like 26 3/8 both ways, which I didn't plan that, but they ended up being square.
And then these are the shelves, so the shelves will go in there. I have the little pins to put in the holes. If you can see there, I actually drilled holes so that the shelf will be adjustable. And then this one, of course, is going to possibly change a little bit because I want to mount a sink in here just for washing hands and brushes and like whatever she's doing. So my wife does a lot of different art. Anyway, that's all it. So I'm going to get started on putting this stuff together. Okay, so that is kind of installed. So it doesn't fit exactly right, I guess, because this building is not, this shed when I made it was not perfectly square. So when they talk about, building stuff perfectly square and you're like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. When you get to doing stuff like this, then that's when it shows up. Or, when I was doing my roof, I noticed that it was out of square a little bit. But, this was like the first project of this size that I did on my own. So, this stuff is all mounted. Oh, mosquito, get out of here. So what's going to happen with this last piece here, if you see, it's about not quite a 1/4 inch, maybe about a 1/4 inch. So this piece will get trimmed, and then I'll actually cut this side at an angle so that when this gets mounted in here, it'll be nice and tight against the wall. So luckily the wall is pretty flat. If you look at that, it lines up against it perfectly. So that's good. So I'll have to trim that piece. I do have 2 more pieces going here, which will be below the drawer. So I'll have to add those in. But right now this is, for the most part, mounted. I basically just ran 4 screws down the middle inside of the cabinet, and then those will get caps on them over the screws. So I think I might actually start trying to get the countertop on here. Even though I'm not going to mount it, I want to get it fitted, and I'm going to have to do a little trimming on or a little cut on the door trim here, so I'll have to figure that out. But looking pretty cool. And the countertop is in. So, as you can see, I got some rubbing here I'm going to have to fix. I have the backsplash on. It's not on there, I just have it sitting in place. Then of course this will get caulking around it to fill that in. And then this backsplash will probably just get siliconed in place. I don't think I'm going to actually nail it. I might need maybe a couple nails here because it's got just a slight bow. And then all this that I cut out with the multi-tool, I'll clean up with sandpaper. That got a little burnt, but yeah, pretty cool. As you saw in the time lapse, I had to take it out and cut it a couple times. All right, so it's probably been over a week since I've gotten a chance to come and work on the studio space. I did go and I picked up a threshold from Home Depot. This is just an aluminum threshold, just simple, something to finish this out. It was a 6-foot threshold, and then I cut it down to fit the doorway. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this put on now. I basically got a drill. I got some concrete anchors right there. So I just gotta drill into the concrete, put in the anchors, and then screw it in. Should be fairly simple. So that was pretty straightforward. Basically just drill the holes and put the little plastic insert in, tap it in with the hammer, and then just screw the screws into that. And now there's a threshold. Alright, so I have the threshold fully installed, and I just installed the doors. These are fairly simple to install. If I can get it out, I still have to get the we're getting little push pieces that are going to go in here. I still got to go buy those. But basically, these are your standard kitchen cabinet hinges. They're fully adjustable. So Taylor has a jig that you use that cuts this hole in, which is basically just like a Forstner bit, but it centers it, you know, in the exact spot for these hinges. And then just drill little pilots, and then basically you measure, you know, from your cabinet to the center of this, and then that's where you get your line here for the center of this. And then you just have to get the distance close, because by turning the two screws that are on here, one screw you turn, it moves this in and out, and then the other screw you turn, it moves it left and right, basically, looking at it in this orientation. So you have, I don't know, maybe 3/16 to 1/4 inch of adjustment play, so that when you close, you want to try and get your lines even, you know, all the way around. So that's what I was going for. It's not perfect, but I mean, this is my first set of cabinets. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the piece on the bottom here, which is going to be a support piece that'll get screwed into both sides of the cabinet. The countertop, I think I'm going to pull off briefly, and I'm going to try and fix this spot here before I put it back on. And then the countertop is pretty much done, so once I have it set in place, I'll just put screws in from the bottom to the countertop. This will get some silicone here to touch this up. And then for the backsplash, I think I'm just going to use like construction adhesive. So I'm going to work on this next piece here, and then I'll see about if I'm ready soon to put the countertop on permanently. Okay, so I have the bottom cross piece on there. Of course, the doors are on, and then I also got this piece cut and fitted in there. So it's also screwed in, you know, through the cabinet, through the spacer, and then into the wall. So the cabinets, I think now are fully installed, not the countertop. I'm going to pull that off real quick, and then I'm going to try and fix this spot that I messed up. There is a slight gap here. That'll just get filled with silicone though, just white silicone so it blends in. And then over on this side, we will be putting a sink in there, and actually Ryan gave me a sink. So he had this old cast iron sink, porcelain sink. It'll just barely fit in here. So I gotta strip all that hardware and stuff out, or the faucet and all that, because we'll get a new one, because that one's actually like dented up. And then we got to clean up the sink because it's been sitting outside for, I don't know, like a year or two. And then that's going to end up going in here. So we may hold off on this drawer. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do that exactly. Since the sink's going to go in there, it may end up being a partial drawer, or I just got to see how everything's going to fit. But we did also pick up the hinges. So I have 3 sets of hinges for these drawers, and I of course have not built the drawers yet. So I don't think I'll do a whole nother part just to, you know, show building the drawers. It's essentially just a box, and then once the rails are mounted, you basically just set it in there and then just put some screws in from the bottom. I mean, there's more to it than that, of course, but yeah, I just want to get this kind of wrapped up. So we'll see. I may do another part. But right now I'm going to pull the countertop off get this area patched up, and then get the countertop back on and actually get it installed permanently. All right, I have the countertops installed, and I've installed the side pieces here on the backsplash. You can see I added silicone there on the edge and on the top. I'm getting ready to put in the back piece of the backsplash now. So all I'm doing really is just running a bead of caulking on there. And then I'm going to use clamps and these pieces here to put pressure against it, and then just leave it there overnight till it dries. Because there's a slight bow, like right where the outlet is here. This side is all done though. You can see I have a silicone on the top and around the edge there. So this is almost done. Yeah, and then I'll end up running a bead of silicone on the top of the backsplash all the way down the wall. All right, so there's my sets of slides. I gotta see how long this video is getting. Maybe I will do some of the drawer stuff in here. So everything is installed. I just have these pieces clamped, holding pressure against that backsplash piece. It's fully siliconed on the top, or caulking, I guess I should say. I will probably do a clear silicone on this seam all the way around once all this dries. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So the cabinets are fully installed. The only thing I have left to do now is the drawers. All right, so it's the next day. I pulled off the little braces that I had on here. All of this is dry. So pretty much everything is done. This is fully installed right now, minus the drawers, of course, which I'll still have to build. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here, and there may or may not be a fourth part to this series if I end up showing the drawer build and the sink install. So we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here, and then like I said, there may be another part to this series, I don't know, but for now, the she shed is for the most part done. So I imagine my wife is probably gonna wanna start moving stuff in here, so we'll see how it goes. But just wanna say thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next video. Aloha.